Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about PlayStation because a major leak directly from Jason Schreier has just come out that is very good and very bad depending on how you look at it, but they've apparently just canceled two big live service games, but it turns out the studios that are working on them, they're ones that we thought were doing stuff that's much better. But let's talk because these canceled projects, to be honest, sound awful. I mean, just abysmally bad. Let's get into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could, I don't know, subscribe, give this video a like, go watch my video reacting to the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. Okay, so this is it. Breaking news that just came out 26 minutes ago, but PlayStation has canceled two big live service games that were currently being funded to hell by Sony, which is Bluepoint and Bend. Now, for a long time, fans have been wondering what Bluepoint is up to because they did the incredibly good Demon's Souls remake, and so people are kind of wondering, were we going to get a Bloodborne remake? Were we going to get, I don't know, some crazy expansive project or something completely new, a new IP? It turns out that what Bluepoint has been working on is a live service God of War game. And what Sony Bend is working on was Sony Bend. There was already a bunch of leaked gameplay. I talked about that a couple months back. They were basically making a looter shooter. Now, the fact that these live service games are dead, I have to admit I'm happy about it because I do feel like this to me is just not very Sony. Like, I feel like a big reason that PlayStation has gotten so far ahead is because of their stories. It's not that multiplayer sucks. It's not that live service is the worst thing ever. But when I think of PlayStation, I think of their incredibly good stories like God of War, like Spider-Man, like The Last of Us. That's the stuff that not just sells systems, but is uniquely PlayStation. So I want to take a look at a bunch of reactions of it, and I want to actually start with a quote from Shuhei Yoshida, because initial gut reaction, people are like, God, I'm glad this is canceled. Yesterday, Shuhei Yoshida is now left PlayStation. He actually worked at PlayStation for 31 years, and he went on to the Kind of Funny Gamecast and talked rather candidly about a bunch of different stuff, including why he feels like we don't have a Bloodborne remaster. But one of the things he specifically says is that if he was still in charge of PlayStation, he would have resisted the push to live service. There's been a lot of talks about the fact that this whole obsession with live service, every company currently has it. Everybody with a massive stock portfolio, whether it is Ubisoft or Square Enix or everybody, they all have this idea that if they can copy Fortnite or copy Call of Duty, they'll instantly just get the money glitch and have billions of free dollars, when that's clearly not the case. 99% of live service games fail. 99% are shut down within the first 16 months. So it's a crapshoot, and it's pretty obvious that Shuhei Yoshida, not only being at PlayStation before it was even called PlayStation, I think he's smart enough to know this stuff, it's not lucrative, it's not worth betting the entire console on. But I think this is interesting because a lot of people are like, man, it's wild to me that PlayStation thinks all these live service games are the way to go. It's time and budget, and all of these could have been spread out to fill large gaps that they should have had first-party exclusives. Jim Ryan knew that, and he bounced. Now, there has been a lot of talk about these live service games. Obviously, a couple of years back, we had Jim Ryan up and leave. He was president of PlayStation for all of PlayStation 4, and a lot of people thought that Jim Ryan is a big reason the PlayStation has gotten so safe, that while the PlayStation 4 was incredibly successful, Jim Ryan decided, okay, let's do tons of remasters, let's do remakes, let's play it safe, let's do tons of DLC, let's do stuff that we know will print money, and then channel that into live service, and that'll be our experimental projects. We'll do a live service Twisted Metal and Horizon Zero. That kind of stuff will make us money. And now the new management has taken over, and it seems like they're canning that. They're saying, no. People are not going to suddenly want to have a live service version of the single player stories they want. Like live service God of War. Are you kidding me? The leaked gameplay from Sony Bend, that's the people that obviously made, they're the people that made Days Gone and Siphon Filter. Their shooter that they were making, it looked incredibly basic to be complimentary. But a lot of people are like, okay, what was the goal of this? Sony says the studios won't close and they're working with them to determine their next projects. Okay, so at least there's that. In this era, it feels like if you have one big flop, they cut you, right? You've seen the studio closures, what happened with Arcane Austin and whatever happened with, oh God, I forgot. What's the name of the Xbox vampire game? Bad Blood? I'm legitimately having a brain fart. But my point is the fact that when you screw up on a $1 billion level at this point, they just cut you down. Even if you do a AA online game like Redfall, if it's not the biggest hit ever, they can it. I want to take a look at a couple more tweets of people just being like, man, it is wild to get these two studios that are so effective. Bluepoint has done incredible work. Sony Bend has done incredible work. The fact that people at PlayStation saw Days Gone, saw the insane fan reaction, the sales numbers, the hype. Yeah, obviously Days Gone did not get the best review scores. Obviously, personally, I did not enjoy that game very much, but the fans loved it. Why did you not give us a Days Gone 2? Give us expansions. Give us something about that. Give us a remaster. I don't know, something. The fact that they took those guys and went, hey, what if you just made a live service shooter? What are we doing here? I got to admit that I am frustrated because why are these projects even being greenlit? I feel like this is such a perfect thing. God of War live service, who let Jim Ryan make these calls? It's wild to me. Bro really needed to go, holy heck. There are no other ideas, bro. I don't even blame them. I feel like back in the day, we used to get new IPs. I feel like I'm starting to become that old man shouts at cloud, but you used to constantly get new ideas. You'd get different spin-offs, you'd get new series, you'd get new concepts. Yes, some of them flopped. Yes, some of them sucked. Nobody knows what Pandemonium is anymore, the PlayStation 1 platformer. Nobody knows what Panzer Dragoon is. I feel like when I think about the success of PlayStation, the classics of PlayStation, the eras of PlayStation, it's been about innovation and not chasing trends. Good stories, great games, incredibly emotional stuff. I have so many great memories of even their non-story based stuff like Gran Turismo, playing Gran Turismo with my bros as a kid. And now they're trying to turn Gran Turismo into a live service game. Everything is supposed to be live service. PlayStation has canceled these two games, but they're not trying to do it. Looks like the failure of Concord and that $400 million loss had a huge impact. I made a video about this a couple weeks ago, which is that I think that Sony has realized that this chasing trends is not going to work. And I feel like this ripple effect is going to hit the entire industry. I think everybody realizes this isn't going to work. Ubisoft shut down X-Defiant. I feel like at this point, everybody realizes that you can't just make a live service game because, if anything, they've cannibalized each other. Marvel Rivals is a fantastic game. It's a fantastic hero shooter, and it has completely eaten Overwatch 2. Overwatch is never coming back ever. That game is completely dead. Even if Marvel Rivals at this point somehow flops in like 6 months, a year, or whatever like that, at this point, Overwatch is not coming back. This is the problem with live service. Billions of dollars to invest in a game that's supposed to keep you engaged, committed, and playing. Buying season passes, buying microtransactions, buying cosmetics. The second you tune out, the second you play another game, the second you stop logging in, the second you have one controversy, that $1 billion gets flushed down the toilet. It's no longer worth the gamble. You're better off making a single player game that is feature complete, that's fun, that's cool, and you sell it. I think Sony needs to go back to basics, but everybody's saying at this point. I'm not some beautiful snowflake to say that. I gotta say, I'm glad that these games got canceled. And honestly, congrats to PlayStation for waking up. What do you guys think? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. By the way, I'm allowed to say this now. I have a big video coming up about Assassin's Creed Shadows next week. I played the game. Am I allowed to say how many hours? I played a lot of the game, and I have a lot of gameplay of it. So I'm going to talk about that next week. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.